Sigma Male Diaries Podcast. Let's get on with it, y'all.
Let's go.
We can relax, have fun, get a good laugh, get information, and enjoy the show. I need to do what it do, baby. Sigma Male. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this what I'm going to show you guys is part 2 of 3 episodes that I do have on this whole thing in regards to modern women feel as if men should put them in their place, and that's how they find them to be masculine men. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to hold you. Let's get to the show.
Is more precious than being right, if you know what I mean.
Yes, I definitely know what you mean. I'm a divorce myself.
But I come, as I said, from a conservative background where I learned that yes, I should give the last word to my husband, but also my husband should consider my opinion very important.
The fuck is that? Shit! I'm dying in this fucking country ass fucked up town.
Yo, Franco, here we go.
So if he considers my opinion very important, I don't mind giving to him the last word, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
And that's the way it is. So I give to him the last word, let's say. Of course, it's not in the sense of like giving to him the burden, but I think that's important for a man to have an important role. I was raised just by my mom, so I know what's to have a weak father at home, okay? So, yeah, exactly. So I think it's important the man having a strong position, but I just give that strong position to a man that listens to my opinion very well, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
So, yeah. So, answering your question, I think when a man is actually masculine, let's say, he doesn't need to put the woman in place. She will feel he is masculine enough to respect her, and so she will respect his opinion. Does that make any sense?
Yes, it does, because I hear that so much. I don't want no weak dude. If he can't put me in my place, I don't want him. I'm like, okay. I took that in the context of conditional femininity at one point. If a man is this, then I would be this way as a woman. And, that goes against the whole nature, the natural aspect of a woman and a man.
Exactly.
Being interdependent, yes, is very important. Listening and communication is key as well. It provides substance, solidification, and balance within that marriage and the relationship.
Yeah, and although, of course, communication is everything, if we watch like series about old times, yes, our lives were kind of hell, for women, but you can see very clearly that men were prepared to get a task and do it.
Right.
That's the way it is. And we are more used to shuffle several activities. That's basically how our minds work differently. So I don't think we should go against that. I think we can improve that, Men can learn other ways of thinking and women too, if you know what I mean. So yeah. I learned from my husband to be more determined and try to be more ambitious. And he learns from me more about the emotional thinking, of course. as usual.
Right,
But
right, yeah.
I think that is fair, you know.
Hmm.
We are different and that's it, and we learn from each other. What's the problem with that? If we both consider each other's opinion important, it should work, you know.
Right,
It
exactly.
has been working, so I really appreciate this kind of stuff.
Thank you, thank you. I do as well. That's the
I
reason.
didn't hear your opinion before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because she was speaking and I got her in the middle of her
Uh,
uh, talk. So, no, I don't know. I might be saying something that is against what you think or against what you wanted to hear, but I have
no,
no idea.
yeah, no, no. It's okay. It's not more or less what I want to hear. Like I like to have knowledge from different aspects. Like I said, with me, there's no right or wrong. Because we live our lives based on
Exactly.
right what works for us or who
Exactly.
we're with. So that's our world. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's our self truth. Now, the objective
Mm-hmm.
side is this: you are receiving the outcomes and results that you want. So
Exactly.
that's fine. You know what I mean? So,
Exactly.
right,
I always think that what is agreed between both people, I think, it doesn't, it's not bad, if you know what I mean. If both
right,
are aware and both are okay with,
yeah,
every couple has an agreement.
right,
And this is the one that has been working for me in my relationship.
exactly. Yeah, I'm with all the
Thank you so
things.
much for
Yep,
answering me.
no problem. Thank you for calling in. Uh,
Take care, Nigel.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you, Priscilla.
I know it's not holiday.
You too. I appreciate it. I think somebody else was. Oh, that was it, Priscilla. Did you need anything else?
No, I'm just trying to turn it off. I'm just
Okay.
trying
Well,
to
no.
leave. Found it. Take care.
All right, you too. Thank you. How do I? Yeah, I'm still trying to figure this. Okay.
I
Oh,
is back.
hi, Mary. Yeah, I know. Sorry to keep you waiting.
No, no. With all due respect to Priscilla, no, a woman should not always have the last word.
Right.
So there's masculine and female, uh, positive and negative. In a relationship, all these forces are necessary, like in nature. So sometimes we need to take a step back, regardless whether you're a man or a woman. And I could get very abrasive, trust me on this.
Exactly
Trust
right.
yeah, because women are defenders and so are men in different ways.
Right.
So by saying this in a relationship, oh, everybody wants to be so sexy. I wish I was 21. I never even knew it. My boobs are sagging and I'm loving it. So shit happens. Gravity. Shit
Yeah.
happens. That
Yeah.
too. So we are equal. But I said this 50-50. It's
Mhm.
not always 50-50. It could be 70-30. It could be 80-20. It could be nothing.
Right.
So it's simple mathematics, deduction, positive and negative.
Yeah.
So by saying this, lust does happen. It's, sex is a need. It only lasts, very little. But there's 24 hours in a day, and a lifetime, many hours, seconds. So if I were a man, yes, I would love looking at those women, and that is the main attraction. It's a chemical reaction, but in chemistry, you can add other components to chemicals, and it becomes something else. This is from not that I'm a philosopher. Trust me, I'm not. uh, I agree with Priscilla. Communication. So in a relationship, there's an attraction, there's trust, there is understanding, caring, giving, providing, both sides, not one side. I'm not going to sit home and let a man provide for me, or vice versa. And by saying this, my mom is harsh, deadly woman. Deadly. My father was the kindest human being I ever met on this face of earth. He should have never, ever gone through what he did with my mom, but he loved her. When he was dying, you know what he said? He said, "Tell her I love her." And I was kind of taken by this. And he said, "She was the most sacrificing woman I ever met in my life." They were married for 50 years.
Okay.
And she was cold as ice. Still is. She's 94 now. They got married very late. So, but a woman should not always have the last word. No.
Yeah.
No, I disagree with that.
Right.
With all due respect.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, this, like, to be honest, I've been trying to hold it in. But for me, honestly, I just disagree with the whole 50-50 notion, because men are leaders, providers, and protectors, and women have a whole totally different role to play in a marriage and the relationship than men. Even the bills aren't 50-50 based on income. You know what I mean? As far as equality, yeah, I understand. Yeah, that's 50-50, yeah.
I have to change. It depends on the circumstance. It depends on the situation. It depends on your environment. It depends. There's so many factors that come into play. It's about sacrificing. If you're in a relationship, you need to know how to sacrifice. If you want to fucking buy me a 10-carat diamond ring and you want to make me look sexy with boobs, shit ain't happening. I don't want it.
Right.
Brother, I don't want it.
I hear that.
It may impress someone else, but even today I look at younger guys and I'm like, wow, how come they weren't around when I was young? And I make comments.
Right.
They were like, yeah, we were, but you never noticed. And we're all growing old, and getting old is a beautiful, beautiful experience. You gain tremendous knowledge if you're willing to keep an open mind and an open heart.
Right.
But a relationship takes responsibility, accountability, and punishment does not always fit the crime.
That's true. That's true.
And we need, in a relationship, we need to be an advocate for each other, for our families, both sides, not one side. Because I see relationship, oh, my family is better. Now you're not seeing the rest of my family. And it happened to mine.
Mm-hmm.
And this is through and you know what? Can I say it? They could go fuck themselves.
Yeah, you can say it, because I agree.
They could go fuck themselves.
On both ends of the stick.
Yeah. So,
you know?
So family unit is failing because someone wants to have the last word. No, that does not work that way. With all due respect, but by saying this, women are true defenders. They really are.
Oh
Go
yeah.
back into history.
Oh yeah.
Go back into history, thousands of years.
Yeah.
Women will defend, provided they will love and care for you. They'll do anything. One wrong word, you're up shit's creek, brother. That's the problem with women.
Yeah. Some say something they don't like. Yeah. Or don't agree
That
with.
is, pardon me?
I said, yeah, that's true. Because especially something they don't agree
Yeah.
with, or you say something that's not right.
Women plot, and you'll be fucking dead. And not like physically. They'll kill you for
Right.
the rest
Right.
of your life.
Right. They'll drain you.
But
No peace.
one thing a man should never ever do is lay hands on a woman.
Yeah.
That is one thing.
Yeah. I agree. I look at that both ways.
Yeah.
Both ways.
And it happens both ways. As I said, I worked for a judge, a federal judge.
Okay. Good.
Women extremely abusive. And I've seen it
Right.
with my own eyes.
Right.
It happens in my family.
Right.
So those things should never happen. There should be communication. Love comes in many forms. It's not just physical love or emotional love, or love is defined in other culture entirely different than in our society here.
Right. Do you find it possible to love someone and not respect them, or respect someone and not love them?
With my experience at my age, I have to disagree.
Okay.
Maybe there will be moments where I could say, "What a fucking bastard!" Like in my mind,
Right.
that insult my.
Yeah. She'll be back. Yeah, that's a good question, ladies and gentlemen. If you love someone, I mean, does it require respect for you to love them, or could you respect someone and not love them? That's a question.
Excellent. Wow, excellent question. I gotta call Colin tomorrow.
Okay.
That's why his relationships always fail. Yeah, there will be moments, but you gotta look at it in as a whole. Maybe right now you're saying, "Oh, what a freaking stupid bitch she may be," and it could be a possibility, or an assumption, or maybe the thought never crossed your mind.
No.
At this freaking hour in the East Coast.
Yeah, I'm in the East Coast. I'm in New York.
Yeah. So, but we don't have to act on it. It's just an emotion.
Right.
And emotions happens all the time. And just an emotion. And we don't have to have the last word. You don't have to have the last word. I don't have to have the last word. There's a degree of understanding. This is when you understand one another, that's when the process of respect happens. It's a process. You can't just say, "Oh, I respect her so much," or him. No, it's a lifetime. It's an achievement.
Right.
You can't just say, "I respect that person."
Has to be both.
Has
That's why
it's
I asked. Yeah.
It's earned, and it takes a long time. And when it comes to love, you gotta love the imperfections first, the faults. First, you got to understand the faults.
Right.
And if you could deal with that, then you could deal with the rest. Because now you're making a commitment. Now you are consciously making a commitment.
Right. That's true. So the question is this, right? For example, for a woman to want the last word between her and her husband when he's actually because you have some men that are territorial, you have some men that are direct, you have some men who would compromise to a degree though, because they know in their minds that since they're direct, this is what they would like done. So this is, what it is as far as roles. It's not like you have to do it, but if a man were to come across a woman who feel as if she always need to have the last say, we call that shame, insult, guilt, need to be right. Us men, we call it sign language. A man having to put her in her place, right? How would you think he should go about addressing something like that? Like if you as a woman and your
All right,
husband was to
let's say
say,
I'm in a relationship.
mm-hmm,
We all make mistakes. I'd rather have him pull me aside or a couple of days later and say, this is where you went wrong. And if I have that I cared for that person,
mm-hmm.
I'm gonna listen.
Okay.
Communication is based on listening more than having the last word.
Right. So even as a wife, right? Because I took that as selective from a man. If, like I mentioned earlier, right? So, what if he's in fact telling you from a logical standpoint, regardless if you disagree? Because I know women are emotional. So that's just how it goes. Because some women don't want to give up their independence, right, to a man fully. Some will, some won't. We call it submissive or cooperation. Um, would you think that would be somewhat of a nuisance or annoying to a man or problematic if it's a continuous thing?
If it's a continuous thing, that's fucking annoying. It would annoy the shit out of me. Once in a while, if I see that person, my partner, is doing something wrong, I'll have him. 3-4 days later, cooling off period. In case women don't know that, I will sit down and I'll say, you know what? There was a mistake.
Accountability.
Maybe we mutually made a mistake, and this is how I feel.
Here we go.
And I will state my case.
Mutually. Okay. Why wouldn't it be a situation whereas you would take accountability like for your own actions? Why would he have to technically be wrong as well?
If I'm wrong, you know what? I'll be the first one to say I'm wrong. I'm not afraid to apologize.
Okay.
I'm not. I'm just looking at it from like another
From outside the
perspective.
lens.
Yeah, I'm trying to be neutral. But if I'm wrong, I have always apologized.
That's good. Self-reflection and self-awareness. That's very important. Yeah.
I will think about my actions.
Great. That's good. Because sometimes the older we get, even for myself, we call it this. You can't teach an old dog new trick phase, right? This is how I am. I'm 45. I've been doing this for X amount of years, this many decades, because I'm 45, right? So if I'm stuck in my ways, but yet I want to change in my life, far as I would just say a partner for the most part, because it's the beginning phase. You're dating, you enter a relationship with that tender marriage. So yeah,
Romance, of course.
that would be a crucial phase, right? So when you come into the terms of let's just say like disagreements or dislikes or boundaries. Suppose boundaries and standards were missing from the beginning, right? how would you think that would impact the relationship? Would it be premature? Do you think it would be toxic, dysfunctional? I mean, what?
Okay,
Hmm.
I have a hard time with boundaries. I really do,
Okay.
personally. Maybe it's my issue. I don't know.
Right, right,
So if I'm dating, how do I set boundaries? What do I tell that person?
right.
Like, how do I?
Well, see, you know what? If you were to actually encounter the right man, because we do, okay, men, we control who we are in a relationship with. We control who we marry, right? Like I explained to a guy earlier today, women control just who they sleep with. That's all the control they have. This the sex part, to be honest, because women are
Yeah,
born with their value, and that's what,
guys are
yeah, other than their broody, that's what makes them valuable, right? Depending on how many
men.
sex partners they have, right? But
But
huh?
as a woman, like if I start dating, which I am not dating, I don't want to date, nothing.
Right.
But if I was dating, like, how do I go about setting boundaries? I really truly have, like, I will
Um,
tell the person, please don't come in, you know,
yeah, you would set your boundaries, right? I know what you're saying. Just in
you know, we're
generalization,
not
yeah.
yeah, right away.
Which
Shit ain't
then,
happening.
yeah,
You know,
Yo,
it takes
Franco,
time.
here we go.
Romance takes time. Attraction takes time. Yeah, there will be that attraction. It's in the back of both sides.
oh yeah, yeah.
Don't jump on me because I could take you down too.
Yeah,
Uh,
because that's the thing about us men, though. Too, see, we're willing to date down. So the attractiveness, yes, that's one of them. The beauty, the femininity, that whole thing, the woman's womb, whether she has kids or not, stuff like that. Those are because we're visual. So yeah, that does matter. I'm not going to lie, because I
yeah,
will only go so, that
natural
yeah.
instinct. It's an instinct.
Yeah, it's
So
natural, you
it
know?
is an instinct,
Right,
natural instinct.
right.
And uh, but boundaries, like, what kind of boundaries would I
Okay,
have?
for example, when a woman meets a man, a lot of women would fail to say, "Hey, listen, I'm looking to be married within 6 months or within the first year."
To me,
Some,
that's not.
huh?
A woman would tell a man, "I'm looking to get married in 6 months."
No, no, no,
Yo,
no.
Franco, here we
I'll
go.
give you an example. I don't know if she could still. And gentlemen, this concludes my talk, my podcast. Some of you might like what I say, then again, some of you might not. But I don't give a fuck. And I really don't. But thanks for listening, ladies and gentlemen. And this is your host on Wisdom and your host on Sigma Male Diaries, Nigel McKnight. Y'all stay safe and be blessed. Amen.